From the moment you plunge into Temple Run, your eye is drawn to that looping glyph stamped on every crumbling archway and moss-covered wall. It isn't just ancient decoration. That familiar infinity shape isn't a nod to mathematics, it's the temple's very commandment. There is no end. Every run, every sprint, every desperate leap unfolds on a canvas that rewrites itself in real time. Think about it. You careen through a break in the stone floor, and suddenly 5 sharp left turns await in quick succession. In any ordinary maze, those twists would land you back where you started. Yet the trail never curves into itself. How can you make left after left without ending in a dead loop? The answer is simple. The path behind you vanishes. As soon as you pass a segment, it dissolves into legend. Only the stretch before your feet even exists. That's why no 2 runs feel the same. One moment you're hurtling over burning logs, the next you're sliding under ancient vines, and it all feels new. The temple isn't a fixed place. It's a breathing entity, spawning floors, obstacles, and chasms on demand. Your character pushes forward, and the idol in hand whispers new corridors into being. Behind you, nothing but empty air. Procedural design usually lives in code far removed from the player's worldview. Here, the game disguises complex world generation as a simple swipe. Yet every swipe is an act of creation. When you choose to veer right, mountain ledges spring into existence. When you leap, hidden staircases crack open. The endless loop symbol isn't a tease, it's a promise that the temple responds to your every move. You might race past tilted columns and think, this must be pre-built, but pause for a second. If those columns were pre-arranged, explorers would someday map the shrine. Adventurers would boast of memorized routes, of perfectly timed turns. Instead, every attempt feels like whitewater rafting through a dark cave. Even the track you left moments ago is swallowed by the void. That's how the temple protects its secrets, by denying any fixed blueprint. And 5 consecutive lefts. A stunt so outrageous it feels impossible, yet your fingers barely hesitate. That's because you're halfway convinced the idol itself is guiding your hand. The artifact isn't just a trophy, it's the command pulsating through these walls. Each curve, each chasm, each collapsing arch is born of the idol's will. You're fleeing monsters, yes, but you're also dancing with destiny, crafting your very escape route as you run. This revelation reframes every second of the chase. No longer are you simply playing on a preset course, you're the architect in waiting, tapping into infinite potential with each swipe. The temple no longer appears as a trap, but as a crucible, testing your creativity under pressure. But understanding this living labyrinth leads to a deeper question. Who forged the idol that commands creation? And if the maze bends to the artifact's power, what other gifts and dangers does it hold? In the next section, we'll unmask the idol itself, revealing the godlike abilities it grants to its bearer, and the terrifying price of wielding such power. When you snatch that gleaming golden idol, it's not treasure you've grabbed, it's raw, unimaginable power. In mere seconds, the thief becomes something more than mortal, a living conduit for abilities that confound the laws of physics. Look closely at how your character behaves, and you'll see each power-up isn't just a gameplay gimmick. It's evidence of a godlike artifact reshaping reality. First, there's the unending stamina. Humans can't sprint for more than a few minutes, let alone dodge obstacles at top speed indefinitely. Yet in Temple Run, every adventurer rockets forward, lungs never burning, feet never slowing. That's the idol's endless vitality coursing through the architect, a perpetual engine with no fuel gauge. It explains how you can sustain blistering bursts of speed without breaking a sweat or pausing for breath. Next is telekinesis, those gleaming coins drawn from midair straight into your grasp. No mere magnet or game mechanic. This is the idol bending physical matter toward its wielder's will. Coins that floated out of chests or lined ruined hallways transform into a shimmering path, all because the artifact compels them to serve its bearer. It's the same power masquerading as coin multipliers or distance bonuses in the UI. But in-world, it represents true mental force. Then comes invulnerability. Tap that shield icon, and for a precious few seconds, flaming logs and jagged spikes simply bounce off you. Rocks that would shatter bones become inconsequential. The artifact envelops the architect in an ethereal cocoon, warding off harm like a divine guardian. It's not just temporary immunity, it's the idol projecting its protective essence, laying out a small bulletproof bubble in the heart of chaos. Perhaps most astonishing is resurrection. Each glowing green gem isn't just a second chance. It's the idol siphoning life force to reverse death itself. When the architect tumbles into a chasm or is caught in a trap, time rewinds as the artifact weaves strands of fate back into place, granting another shot at survival. In narrative terms, these gems are fragments of the idol's own soul, sacrificed to defy finality. Yet these extraordinary abilities, powerful as they are, pale beside the idol's true gift creation. Every new segment of track, every twisting corridor, Every collapsing ruin you navigate was birthed by the artifact. Swipe left, and a broken stone bridge spans the void. Swipe right, and moss-clad pillars form a narrow archway. Jump, and ancient stairs materialize beneath your feet. This isn't procedural code. It's the idol rewriting reality on the fly. The architect wields artistry and architecture in one breath, sculpting a labyrinth that challenges the relentless demon monkeys hot on their heels. This creation power is what elevates the idol from mere treasure to divine relic. The predecessors, those ancient builders, understood this. They didn't just worship the artifact, they feared it. To hold the idol is to hold a miniature cosmos in your palm, able to dismantle or construct at whim. No wonder the temples bear that infinite emblem. The idol's creative force knows no bounds, but with such power comes peril. The idol's divine spark draws the immortal demon monkeys like moths to flame, igniting an eternal hunt. And, as we'll explore next, those cursed guardians aren't merely obstacles. They're living reminders of the idol's dark price. When you glimpse those snarling simians at your heels, you might chalk them up to clever AI or classic horror tropes. But these demon monkeys are far more than relentless pursuers. They are living embodiments of the idol's darkest secret. As the architect shapes the temple's path, these creatures emerge from its shadows, drawn by the relic's divine spark. Their purpose is singular: to hunt and kill anyone who dares wield the idol's creative might. Imagine creatures born not of flesh and blood, but of arcane energy bound to the idol's soul. Unlike mortal thieves who breathe, tire, and bleed, these beasts move with unholy endurance. They sprint as long as the architect runs, lungs unburned, muscles unstrained. You can sense the idol's power fueling them too, only twisted by a curse. That's why even when you blast through a shield or sprint boost, the monkeys keep pace unfazed by flames, roots, or chasms, yet their immortality sets them apart. When traps finally catch the architect hand, the gem's green glow resurrects Youthi's demons remain. No simple retry spawns them fresh. Their essence endures across every life-forged rebirth. They exist outside time in a cruel loop, just like the temple itself. While you reclaim a second chance, they relentlessly carry forward, undeterred by your escapes. In their design, you glimpse their symbolic role. Monkeys often represent chaos, unpredictability, instincts unbound by order. Here, they embody the idol's shadow side, creation untempered by morality. Every corridor you construct, every platform you birth, they render as battlegrounds. Their pursuit isn't random. They navigate the maze precisely, as if feeding off the very same creative code that spawns your path. You might think you're outsmarting them 5 turns to the left. A daring leap, but, in truth, they mirror your every stroke, unerringly closing the distance. But why monkeys? Legends among the predecessors spoke of the idol's forge god, a trickster spirit who sculpted the world in primal chaos. When the idol bound itself to mortal hands, that spirit fractured its essence into guardians. The demon monkeys, they are both jailers and hunters, tasked with ensuring no architect grows so powerful as to reshape reality unchecked. Their existence offers a brutal warning. Every gift from the idol carries a price. Stamina, shields, resurrectional, pale next to the curse of eternal pursuit. No mortal can master the idol's full potential without risking permanent enslavement to these guardians. In ancient texts, few dared touch the idol, and those who did were said to vanish forever. Dragged into the temple's endless corridors by swarms of glowing red-eyed simians, in gameplay terms, the demon monkeys explain the throttle on power-up's marathon distance. Fine, until the monkeys close in. Shield, temporary respite, but they bide their time. Gems, a lifeline, not a loophole. They only delay the inevitable. Each mechanic reflects the idol's balance. Power granted, consequence delivered. Understanding the monkeys transforms the chase from mere obstacle dodging into a high-stakes survival ritual. You're not just fleeing, you're racing against fragments of the idol's own curse. Every swipe writes a new proof of your worthiness. Every near miss, a testament to your skill. And with each gem you spend, you pay tribute to the idol's insatiable hunger for both creation and chaos. Next, we'll uncover how the predecessors built these temples as crucibles, forging architects through trial by fire and simian torment. But for now, remember, no matter how far you run, the demon monkeys never tire. They're born of the idolland. They will not rest until the architect falls. Long before Francisco Montoya ever laid eyes on the idol, a forgotten civilization whom we call the predecessors rose in the jungles of ancient South Central America. They were master builders and mystics, driven by whispers of divine power emanating from golden relics scattered across the land. When they uncovered the first idol, they didn't steal it for wealth, they feared it. They watched in awe as it bent reality, crafting stone halls at a thought and turning gems into living energy. But every miracle it wrought came with the relentless pursuit of the demon monkeys. Rather than hiding the idol away, the predecessors embraced it as a test of humanity's worth. They constructed a network of trial temples, endless circuits of rubble, chasms, and traps designed as both proving grounds and prisons. Each temple bore the infinity glyph at its entrance. A warning: no architect may claim ultimate power without first proving mastery over creation and surviving chaos incarnate. Young apprentices chosen by lineage or talent were initiated as architect candidates. They underwent rigorous training in crafting simple path segments, columns, ramps, and bridges fashioned from the temple's own stone. At dawn, a candidate would don ceremonial garb, clutch the idol, and step onto the starting plinth. As soon as they broke their first sprint, the temple awoke. The idol responded to their intention, molding the first hallway. But before long, the demon monkeys poured through hidden archways, hungry for the architect's blood. These trials weren't classroom exercises, they were life and death crucibles. Each segment the candidate summoned might be flawed, collapsing underfoot or leading to a trap of sharpened spikes. If the temple killed them, a single green gem imbued with idols' essence could revive them at the last checkpoint. The gem's glow sewed flesh and bone, sending them back smarter, warier, more attuned to the idol's will. Over decades, the predecessors cataloged every run. Glyph-inscribed tablets recorded which combinations of path pieces best countered the monkeys. Strategies: looping staircases to confuse pursuit, swinging drawbridges timed to crush oncoming hordes, zigzag ramps that forced the demons to recalibrate. These records became a sacred library, but they never replaced live practice. The idol's power was too fluid, no written plan could anticipate every twist the temple would spit out. As apprentices died and revived, a pattern emerged. Only those who mastered split-second creation under pressure survived long enough to face the central sanctum. Colossal antechamber where the idol's power pulsed strongest. There, a final gauntlet awaited. A vast chasm bridged by floating monoliths that vanished soon after each step. Candidates had to conjure permanent segments mid-jump, lest they plummet into the abyss. Few succeeded. Those who did were hailed as full architects, the only mortals ever granted true command over the temple's infinite design. But the curse lingered. Even triumphant architects found themselves forever chased by demon monkeys, avatars of the idol's dread side. And so the predecessors pivoted from seeking conquerors to preserving balance. They sealed most temples, scattering the idol and its keys beneath mountain roots and riverbeds. They believed that a world dominated by unchecked creation would collapse into chaos, and that only a destined, chosen architect, one who could both wield and then lay aside the idol, might break the cycle. Centuries later, the jungle swallowed their cities, temples crumbled, glyphs faded, and the idol's origin slid into legend. Yet the carved infinity symbols remain, hidden in mossy ruins, a silent testament to those ancient trials. Every time you swipe through a new corridor, you reenact a rite of the predecessors, shaping fate while fleeing doom. Their temples were never meant as prisons for idols, they were sanctuaries for mortal courage, lit by golden hope and shaded by simian dread. Francisco Montoya was no mystic or chosen prodigy. He was a conquistador driven by ambition, gold fever, and the promise of glory. In the early 16th century, whispers reached his ears of a temple of endless riches deep within uncharted jungles. When he and his men stumbled upon crumbling stone ruins etched with the infinity symbol, Montoya disregarded caution. He marched straight into the central chamber, seized the gleaming idol from its plinth, and triggered a run he scarcely understood. At first, the temple seemed a trap like any other cave, collapsing beams, hidden pits, and jagged spears sprung from walls. Montoya's muscle and steel helped him survive the first few hurdles, but soon the temple took on a life of its own. Corridors shifted underfoot, alcoves opened to yawning chasms, and shattered columns erupted from the floor. The idol pulsed in Montoya's grip, instinctively molding new pathways whenever the ground threatened to swallow him. Yet Montoya never learned to command this power. Creation was instinctual, not intentional. Behind him, the demon monkeys emerged, atrocious parodies of the predecessors' guardians with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp claws. They advanced relentlessly. Montoya fought valiantly, musket shots ringing through the halls, only for his bullets to shatter harmlessly against stone walls or vanish midair. Drawn inexplicably toward the idol's telekinetic pull, realizing that brute force failed, Montoya turned to flight. His sprint was powered by the idol's infinite stamina. He weaved through archways and vaulted over chasms, relying on adrenaline rather than artifice. Every swipe of his blade opened new avenues by accident. When faced with a flooded corridor, a broken timber bridge arched across the water. When spike traps loomed, a series of crumbling steps led upward. Yet Montoya never grasped that these miracles sprang from the idol's will, not mere luck. Eventually, a hidden trapdoor yawned open beneath his feet, plunging him into a pit of spikes. As blood bloomed on the stones, Montoya believed his end had come. But a single emerald gem lay nearby, and with trembling fingers he clasped it. A green light sparked, knitting bone to flesh and restoring his breath. In that instant, he understood. This relic didn't just save life, it rewrote it. Montoya staggered back to the starting plinth, bruised but alive. He emerged from the temple at dawn, cradling the idol and clutching that green gem. Tales of his survival spread like wildfire across Europe, fueling legends of a magical artifact that defied death and space. Montoya claimed he could map the temple outright, but every map he drew fell apart the moment he returned. The jungle reclaimed paths, ruins reshaped. Scholars mocked him, dismissing his story as fevered hallucination. Yet Montoya carried a fragment of truth and a fragment of the idol's soul. His run marked the first human confrontation with the temple's living architecture. He demonstrated the idol's power's resurrection stamina, the flicker of path creation without ever fully harnessing them. In his hands, the temple was chaos incarnate, a maze half built by instinct and half by relic-driven whim. His failure paved the way for future seekers who would study glyphs and decipher techniques, honing the art of crafting escape in mid-sprint. But Montoya's legend endured. A cautionary tale of hubris and wonder. He proved that the temple's infinity wasn't a myth, and that the demon monkeys were more than spectral nightmares. Most importantly, he showed that to truly master the idol, one must become an architect trained, disciplined, and willing to sacrifice everything to bend reality itself. Decades after Francisco Montoya's chaotic debut, the relic's legend reached the ears of a scholared adventurer known as Montana Smith. Unlike Montoya's raw ambition, Smith approached the idol with meticulous research, studying faded glyphs, translating predecessor tablets, and mapping ancient trial sites. He believed the temple's power could be mastered through knowledge rather than brute force, and to some extent he was right. When Smith first entered the jungle temple, he carried a leather-bound codex filled with glyph interpretations. He knew that the infinity emblem signaled a reactive maze, and that the idol responded to thought as much as motion. Armed with this insight, he practiced subtle intentions, focusing his mind on shaping minecart tracks rather than merely fleeing. The result? Temple Run 2's signature minecart segment, Smith's conscious creation, not coincidence. As wheels clattered down rusty rails, Smith guided the cart through looping tunnels carved by his will. When the demon monkeys swarmed behind him, he summoned sturdy wooden bridges beneath the cart's wheels, easing hairpin turns that would have snapped steel rails. In open caverns, he envisioned wide chasms bridged by stone slabs. Each slab materialized at the edge of his vision, allowing him to press forward. These deliberate creations marked a turning point. The idol's power to create could be harnessed with intent and understanding. Smith also refined survival techniques. He discovered that stacking green gems allowed chain resurrections, returning not to the start, but to the exact moment before his fall. By carrying multiple gems, he effectively bookmarked dangerous sections, granting him opportunities to practice architectural solutions until perfected. His codex recorded these experiments, gem coordinates, bridge designs, and optimal shield timings. While Smith never published his findings, fearing that unleash unchecked creation rumors of his notes circulated among treasure hunters. Enter the modern crop of idol seekers: Guy Dangerous, Carmen Sandiego-style rogue Kate Dash, former football star Zach Wonder, and countless freelancers chasing fame or fortune. Unlike Smith's studious solitude, these thrill-seekers treat the temple as an extreme sport. They lack Smith's disciplined approach, so they rely on fragments of his glyph translations and hastily sketched diagrams from online forums. Their runs begin with a quick prayer to the idol, a half-remembered incantation from Smith's codex: Infinite Edifica, Demoni, Fuget, Build, Evermore, Demons Begone. A gesture meant to focus the idol's creative spark. Sometimes it works: a narrow spiral staircase blooms on cue, flinging pursuers off balance. Other times, the temple responds unpredictably, spawning broken ramps or cavern walls that collapse before a single step. That's the gamble these adventurers take. A fleeting taste of godlike power offset by chaos incarnate. Zach Wonder exemplifies this recklessness. Hired by a secretive corporation seeking the idol's energy for biotechnical experiments, he charges through chasms and football cleats, banking on the idol's stamina boost to outrun its guardians. His reward? Headlines in corporate memos boasting athlete conductor breaks, infinite temple code, ignoring the fact that he barely survives each attempt. Meanwhile, independent explorers stage temple run challenges on social media, broadcasting runs live for likes and sponsorships. They flaunt minecarts, shields, and gem stash, but most never master true creation. Instead, they stitch together pre-built segments left behind by past architects. Proof that when modern seekers lack both Smith's scholarship and the predecessor's discipline, they become mere consumers of creation rather than creators themselves. This patchwork approach further scatters the temple. Every failed run downgrades the library of reusable segments. Every victory hides fresh glyphs beneath rubble. The temple fragments into a mosaic of repeated parts, half-remembered creations from Montoya's luck, Smith's intent, and countless amateurs' desperate swipes. Yet the cycle continues. Each new architect in training dreams of rising above past mistakes, of harnessing the idol's infinite canvas to shape a flawless escape. The temples, once silent sanctuaries of destiny, now reverberate with the echoes of countless quests, an ever-evolving testament to human ambition and divine temptation. Ultimately, Temple Run isn't just an endless corridor of danger, it's a living trial that confronts every adventurer with two stark choices: to fear the unknown or to embrace the power to shape it. The idol, far from a mere relic of gold, stands as the nexus of creation and chaos. It bestows upon its bearer godlike gift, senseless stamina, telekinetic gravitas, temporary invulnerability, and the very means to resurrect life itself. It is so at the cost of unleashing primordial guardians born from its own dark side. From the Predecessors' trial temples to modern thrill-seekers' viral challenges, the idol's purpose remains unchanged: to test whether a mortal can balance the act of creation with the burden of consequence. Early architects like Montoya stumbled through the labyrinth unawares, their runs defined by instinct and desperation. Scholars like Montana Smith advanced the art, learning to mold minecarts and bridges with deliberate thought. Today's explorers, armed with fragments of past knowledge, struggle to weave coherent paths, often treating the temple as a backdrop for adrenaline rather than a sacred proving ground. The infinity glyph plastered on every wall and arch isn't decorative, it's the temple's eternal edict. There is no predetermined path, no static design, and no guaranteed escape. Only the architects will breathe corridors into being, moment by moment. Yet with each new segment summoned, the demon monkeys, avatars of unchecked creations, shadow close in, embodying a primal balance. For every boon granted, there is a pursuit exacting its price. This dynamic interplay reframes every swipe, every leap, and every near miss. You're not merely evading obstacles, you are authoring them. Each decision scribes a new chapter in the temple's living manuscript, testing your creativity under the fiercest pressure imaginable. When you clutch a green gem in desperation, you rebargaining with the idol's own essence, trading parts of its divine spark to cheat mortality and buy yourself another chance at mastery. And that, perhaps, is the idol's greatest lesson. True power demands both artistry and restraint. The Predecessors recognized this when they sealed most temples and fragmented the secrets of the idol across ruins and rivers. They feared a world in which mortals, intoxicated by limitless creation, would ignore the cost, giving rise to chaos far greater than any simian curse. So, when you next launch Temple Run, consider the deeper stakes behind every swipe. You are stepping into a crucible as old as the golden idol, itself a test, not just of reflexes, but of spirit. Will you remain a victim of the temple's shifting corridors, desperately consuming the patterns left by others? Or will you rise as a true architect, wielding the idol with intent, forging your own path through infinite trials, and ultimately confronting the demon monkeys on your own terms? The temple offers no easy answers, only the promise of perpetual renewal. Each run resets the challenge, inviting you again. Dare you craft your own destiny within these endless walls?